Well, right now, News 19 at 6, overnight rain caused flooding in some areas around the Midlands. Plus, Lexington deputies are investigating after a woman was found dead at a motel. And a fire destroyed several apartments in Columbia. We'll tell you how one family is not letting the tragedy destroy their Christmas as News 19 at 6 starts right now.
From the station that's on your side, you're watching News 19 at 6.
Well, a lot of rain fell across the Midlands today, causing some big problems. Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Lauren Thomas. JR and Darcy are off tonight. Well, today's rain washed away a number of roads, many of which had temporary fixes put in place after the October flood. News 19's Sonia Gutierrez was out in Lexington today, where one fix was washed out yet again.
All I could think about was the first one we had a while back. And at that time, the water was had to be in the neighborhood of 4 feet deep right here.
The flash flood warning brought back painful memories.
And now, the one today, I don't think I ever saw it get over about 6 to 8 inches.
Longtime Chapin resident Harold Rickard was relieved to see the water didn't reach the same levels from October. It did, however, wash out the temporary fix SC DOT placed on Murray Linder Road.
It wasn't as full, so it didn't stretch out in the road the same amount of distance.
This neighborhood is one of over a dozen areas where residents called Lexington Dispatch about flood problems.
They're our eyes out in the community. And
As we potentially get more rain, Captain Adam Myrick with the Lexington Sheriff's Department says our grounds really can't absorb much more, so we need to be careful when we see still water.
Keep in mind that even as little as 6 inches of water can knock you off your feet. 2 feet of water can potentially cause your car to move.
And absolutely stay away from barricades.
Even if that road looks dry or if you don't see any signs of water, it could potentially have been washed out earlier and it could give way if a car drives over it. So make sure you turn around.
Because a trace of the historic floods doesn't only live in our memories.
And this probably caught them by as much surprise as it did me.
Sonia Gutierrez, News 19 WLTX.
Well, SCDOT says an additional 17 roads have been closed in 6 counties due to flood damage because of the heavy rain that has fallen in the last 24 hours. Well, the recovery process has begun as people regain a sense of normalcy after October's floods, but rain like what we saw today can trigger traumatic memories. Licensed counselor Chad Middleton says if you experience anxiety when it rains, don't ignore it. He suggests talking to friends, family, or a professional.
Talk to someone. I find that talking is like throwing up. The more you throw up, the better you feel. And sometimes you just got to be around people that allow you to talk and try to get a lot of the feelings that you have out.
Now, he says anxiety and PTSD can lead to serious medical issues, so don't be afraid to ask for help. For more information, visit our website, WLTX.com, and look for this story. Well, the rain has caused officials in Richland County to monitor a dam in the northeast. The dam is located at a lake near Farrow Road and Brickyard Road. That's part of the Crane Creek watershed. That's not far from North Brickyard Road, and that area saw 2 to 3 inches of rain. However, no evacuations were ordered or advised today.
Now, the Midlands' most accurate forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jim Gandy.
Well, we are going to be seeing some rain tonight. In fact, our radar right now is showing some light rain just south of Columbia, extending over toward Florence and the Sumter area, and even to our south through the western part of Orangeburg County. It's moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. But currently in Columbia, our temperature is 66 degrees under cloudy skies. Winds are from the east-northeast at 5 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, our temperature won't budge very much. We may see a few light showers. That's about it. Low of 64 degrees. Tomorrow, we'll see more rain with a high of 74. The rain begins to pick up tomorrow evening, and that's when we might see some significant rain. We'll take a look at that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Jim. Well, in Lexington County, deputies are investigating after a woman was found dead in a motel. Few details have been released, but we're told deputies were called to the Motel 6 on Burning Tree Drive this afternoon. So far, the victim's name or cause of death has not been released. And a former clerk for Charleston County's Magistrate Court has been arrested and charged with taking more than $4,500. 31-year-old Heather Elizabeth Hughes is charged with breach of trust. Court documents state that an auditor notified officials that nearly $4,500 in petty cash was missing from the magistrate's office between November 6th and December 1st. Prosecutors say the cash was removed from bank deposit bags. Hughes has been fired. She had worked for the county for about 2.5 years. Well, a new mom is especially thankful to spend the holiday with her family after they safely made it out of a fire at her apartment building. News 19's Colby Gallagher has her story.
I'm still living, my baby's still living. That's all that matters, you know. Christmas here, she don't know nothing too much about Christmas, you know. As long as she still got mommy, that's all that matters.
Instead of focusing on the negative, LaShonda Sutton is counting her blessings after escaping a fire at the Willow Run Apartments on Sunday.
In the kitchen, like, it's on the floor.
Sutton was inside with her newborn baby, boyfriend, and mother when a neighbor banged on the door telling them to get out.
I grabbed the first thing, my baby, the blanket, and we just went outside.
She's one of 13 residents displaced from the fire that started in her neighbor's apartment.
A home fire at any time is bad, but, you know, right here at the holidays, you know, makes it a little bit worse.
John Wright with the American Red Cross says within an hour, the residents were helped with food, shelter, and necessities. He says these types of calls are more common around the holidays.
Here in central South Carolina alone, we responded to over 25 cases just this month in December.
Sutton thought her family's Christmas would be spent in a motel, but was moved into a new apartment just in time to be home for the holidays.
Yeah, it felt like home. It's no different, just a new building and upstairs, that's it.
Sutton lost some of the baby's clothes, but not much else, and says the important thing is that no lives were lost.
That was the blessed part, that everybody made it out and safe, you know. All the other stuff is material thing. As long as we had our life, that's all that matters.
Colby Gallagher, News 19, WLTX.
Well, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, and Sutton says a random passerby is a hero because he kicked down the door of the apartment where the fire originally started and got the man and his son out safely. Well, health officials say flu season is off to a slower start this year nationwide. However, South Carolina is the only state reporting significant flu-related traffic at doctors' offices and clinics. That's a stark contrast to the last 3 flu seasons when doctors' offices nationwide were filled with patients before Christmas and illnesses peaked by late December. Traditionally, most flu seasons don't really get going until around Christmas, and scientists have predicted there's a 57% chance this flu season will peak in February. Well, tonight we're on your side with a recall from Ford. The car maker is recalling about 313,000 older large cars because the headlight can go dark and cause a crash. The recall covers some Ford Crown Victoria and Mercury Grand Marquis from 2003 to 2005 model years. Dealers will replace the lighting control module at no cost to owners. Also, the Moe's on Main Street at USC here in Columbia is closed. We're told the restaurant is getting some renovations and it is expected to open again in January, on January 4th to be exact. Well, today, the Columbia Urban League hosted its 48th annual Beatrice McKnight Christmas Giving Project. They provided 400 food baskets filled with fruits, veggies, meat, peanut butter, and jelly, and a number of other items to the disadvantaged elderly members of the community.
This is an opportunity to let them know that we love you, to keep them encouraged. Many elderly people have to balance the budget, whether or not they're going to purchase food or pay for medicine. And we want to let them know that we care for you. We thank you for all that you've done for others.
Well, volunteers delivered a limited amount of food baskets to families who were unable to collect their baskets on site. Well, the famously hot New Year's celebration is less than 2 weeks away, and we are giving away an awesome prize package to make for the best New Year's Eve celebration ever. That package includes a night for 2 at the Inn at USC on New Year's Eve, dinner for 2 at the Oak Table on New Year's Eve, plus tickets to a ton of cool places around town, including Adventure and the Riverbanks Zoo, and a gift certificate to Revant. To enter, just go to the WLTX Facebook page. The winner will be announced on Thursday right here on News 19 at 6. Well, we saw some heavy rain this morning that left some areas flooded, and we could see more rain tonight. Chief Meteorologist Jim Gandy has your full forecast coming up. And plus, the Myrtle Beach Airport saw an unusual guest at the terminal. We'll tell you about that right after the break. Well, a coyote was spotted running inside the Myrtle Beach International Airport this morning. The wild animal was seen running through the terminal around 10 a.m. Horry County Animal Control officers were called to capture it and remove it from the TSA desk, and no one was injured because of that incident. I don't know, maybe he was coming in from the rain, I don't know.
Where was the where is the Roadrunner?
Right, exactly. You should be following up right behind him,
exactly,
because coyotes, well, ahead of him actually.
But this morning when we woke up, it was raining pretty hard.
Yeah, it was.
Fortunately, we won't see that tonight. We have just a little bit of light rain that's occurring. This is all moving toward the northeast at about 35 miles per hour, moving pretty fast. Any rain that you see tonight, it's going to be light, really won't amount to a great deal. Now, you can see the rain right here in South Carolina. Otherwise, it's just cloudy over much of the area. A lot of the rain has shifted further to the south now. We've got a lot of rain right here along the Gulf Coast. The main storm system has moved on up into southern Canada. We have a front that's becoming stationary through the Mid-South area. So a lot of warm, moist air is flowing northward along the east coast. The next storm system has moved out into the northern plains. It's going to be coming down into parts of the southeast. And as it intensifies, that's when we expect to see a lot of this moisture moving north into the Mid-South area tomorrow. And that's where we're likely to see some severe weather. But for us, it's mainly going to be rain. Now, temperatures are warming up across the south central states and here in the east. In fact, in New York City, they're at 62 degrees right now, 64 degrees over in Oklahoma City. The cold air is up over the northern plain states and extending out into the western part of the country. So here in South Carolina, temperatures mainly in the mid-60s for the Midlands. It's 60 degrees in Anderson and in Greenville, 66 here in Columbia, 64 in Sumter, 67 degrees in Orangeburg. Our computer model tonight is showing that we'll see a few showers coming through, but not a lot of rain. And even tomorrow when you wake up, we'll see some showers with some more rain tomorrow afternoon. But it's tomorrow evening that we are right now expecting the bulk of the rain to come through. Then it begins to move out after midnight. And once we get to Thursday, which is Christmas Eve, it should remain cloudy, but little chance for any rain. Now, rainfall could be substantial. This is for tomorrow evening. And you can see here across a good part of the Midlands, anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches of rain, lesser amounts in the southeastern part of the Midlands. Again, it will depend on exactly where the axis of the heavy rain sets up. It could be a little bit further south or a little bit further north, but we'll be watching that. That would be our next opportunity for some heavy rains. Tonight, low temperatures generally in the low to mid 60s, 64 degrees here in Columbia. Tomorrow, it will remain cloudy. We're expecting a high of 70 in Newberry, 72 in Winnsboro, 74 for Columbia and Orangeburg, maybe up to 75 in Sumter. But looking ahead, on Christmas Eve, Thursday, we're expecting just a slight chance for any rain. High temperature 79, that would be a record. We're also expecting a record high temperature on Christmas Day, the high of 81 degrees, and it'll continue to be unseasonably warm with high temperatures of 79 degrees through the weekend and even into next week. We're going to be seeing mid to upper 70s with a chance of rain. However, I do expect it to cool down by the time we get to the new year.
Yeah, it's unseasonably hot temperatures for
this is
Christmas time.
It's going to be records.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
I grew up in Florida, so this was normal down there.
This is normal. All right. Thanks, Jim. Well, it's time now to check in with sports reporter Alyssa Lang.
Yeah, guys. Well, if you're not a fan of the weather, plenty to do inside. We're talking tons of basketball action happening tonight, as well as Dabo Swinney's plans for Christmas. That's coming up next in sports.
Now, from News 19 Sports, Alyssa Lang.
Well, tonight the USC men and women's basketball teams are both in action, looking to defend their unbeaten streak as the only school in the country to have both teams with zeros in the loss column. At 9 p.m., the men will tip off in Connecticut as they take on St. John's. The 25-ranked Gamecocks look to move to an 11-0 record. That's a record the program hasn't seen in over 80 years. They're coming off a momentum-building win over Clemson last week, and they remain the only undefeated team in the SEC. By the way, they're one of just 6 unbeaten teams in the country. And the women will tip off their last game before the holiday. They take on Elon tonight at home. They look to go 12-0, and A'ja Wilson should be particularly rejuvenated today after getting some time in during their weekend matchup against ECU. That was after sitting out 2 games. And then today, Wilson was named the 2015 USA Basketball Female Athlete of the Year. That's following her performance at the 2015 World Championship in Russia this summer. But one thing they can all agree on, no matter who's playing or where they are, Gamecock fans have made a world of a difference, home or on the road.
You know, when we walk out onto to the arena and see just the sea of garnet and black, it's quite incredible. You know, I know the years that we've played down there at the Beach Ball Classic, it's been all, you know, Carolina blue. But now when we play, it's all, you know, garnet and black.
Well, if you're looking for some great high school basketball action before Christmas, tonight is the last night of the Chick-fil-A Classic. Games have been wrapping up all day, but the marquee matchup tonight will be the championship game between Green Forest and Hammond. Of course, local phenom Seventh Woods had a night last night, but then again, he always does. That game tips off at 8:30 tonight. We'll have all your highlights coming up later on News 19. And of course, Christmas is just 3 days away, but the Clemson Tigers have had other things on their minds for a while now. They've been preparing for that big New Year's Eve college football playoff game, but for the next 3 days, it's about celebrating the holiday with family. Dabo Swinney isn't exempt. Before they headed home for a short break, he said he was looking forward to fulfilling some Swinney Christmas traditions.
Oh no, go home. I'm going shopping. I make my annual run to Dick's and Walmart and Hibbett's and Lowe's. That's kind of where I go, and if I can't find it there, I ain't getting it. I'm a binge shopper, so look out. But I got my same little checklist items that I go and get my boys. I get them a new football every year, whether they need one or not. Basketball, wiffle ball, just stuff. And because Santa's coming to my house in the morning. And then we'll go to Alabama for a few days, and everybody comes, but everybody just does whatever they want to do Christmas-wise, and then we'll come back sometime Christmas Day, and get locked in, packed up. Meetings the morning of the 26th. We got a team meeting at 9, and then we'll practice a little bit later that day, and then we'll get on the bus and head down.
And I'm sure they're hoping some national champion T-shirts would make for some good late Christmas presents, potentially.
Little stocking stuffers, right, afterwards?
Yeah.
Well, it's good that they have a break right before.
Absolutely, and they'll be coming back Christmas night and then hitting the road for Miami. They'll have full practices before the bowl game and everything.
All right, thanks, Alyssa. Well, coming up next, we'll have details on a newest member of the News 19 family. And just in time for Christmas, we have a new addition to the News 19 family. News 19's Ashley Isbicki became a mommy. Baby Grayson was born at 4:18 yesterday afternoon. He weighed 8 pounds and 5 ounces and was 21 inches long. Both mom and baby are doing well, so a big congrats to Ashley and her husband, Ed. Well, as we leave you tonight, we do so with some songs from the season. From the Palmetto Pans from USC, CBS Evening News is next after this.